none of the depths are actual because of currents that cannot be predicted. We were in a nightmare of shallow waters without knowing what was underneath the boat. And just as I took the helm, the boat came to a sudden stop. We were pushed sideways, and for an hour to an hour and a half, waves were coming and smashing us sideways, and the boat was sideways, spinning around and landing back on shallow ground. We could hear crushing of rocks underneath the boat, which is a complete destruction for any boat, no matter how strong a boat is. We could hear it. Lisa was downstairs, cuddled up into her. Where were you, honey? Where? Do you remember? In the thing. The sleeping bag. The sleeping bag is Lisa's anointed place. When all hell breaks loose, she goes in the sleeping bag and covers herself up. There I am, sideways, trying to figure out what to do. At the same moment, a huge, what appears to be like a storm of fog. I couldn't see my hand, though I can't see anything. Our boat is laying on its side, being pounded by waves. And when a boat is not moving, all your instruments can't tell you where you're going. So all you see is this floating compass spinning around. And you don't know which way to go. And I cried Adonai, deliver us from this situation, deliver us from this situation. And all we got was nothing but pounding of waves with no deliverance, no rescue. And all I kept getting is there's a reason for the waves, there's a reason for the storm. No prayer, no fasting, no Nazarite vow can stop me from what God is trying to teach me in that situation when he says there's a reason for the storm. I would like to deliver you from this moment, but I can't because there's a reason. I'm doing something greater than you understand. You need to be saved from the situation, but you're not here because you need saving. You're here because I'm about to teach you something you've never known before. And I say again, when the ocean was good and ready, it sent a huge and mighty wave. It smashed us to the side. The boat spun around, and then it was floating. And I had no idea which way to go, so I just floored it and went wherever the boat goes. Once we began to move, I began to see the depth get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Amen. I'm really amazed that in this process, God moves at the moment where I no longer have faith. You see, when I'm faithful and shouting and believing, nothing happens. It's when I say, forget it, I give up. God says, good. When you give up, it's time for me to move. And when you give up, you can close your eyes and just floor it. It don't matter where you go, because it's no longer you trying to go where you think you need to go. There's a reason for the storm. There's a reason for the storm. We get down to Florida, that's a whole other storm. I end up with my family in Steenhatchee, which is made up of rednecks who don't like blacks or Jews. I can't even tell you that story, but that was just really, really bad. And yet again, we could not leave there until Adonai decided we done give up. He did vows to the pastor who came up to me, Rabbi, I'm just here to give you a little constructive criticism. You have a lovely wife and all, but she come in here with them pants, they're going to think she's a lady of the evening. I said she is. She's a lady of my evening. Lord, what's wrong with that? She come up to her and said, honey, you got beautiful hair. You got beautiful hair, but you really need to stack it. And the only word in the week was, stack it, don't hack it. Because a woman has a glory of her hair. She should not be cutting her hair. I mean, everybody's got their religion thing figured out until God shows up and they can't recognize God.
Right.
So Steenhatchee was hell, and day after day we were bitten by gnats. And I said, gnats, a long time ago Moses done got rid of you. Why is a descendant of Israel being chewed up by gnats? Tried to get rid of the gnats, but they would not leave until they were satisfied drinking up my blood. And Adonai keeps reminding me, there's a reason for the storm. We finally leave, and we're heading down. We're all excited. There's 5 boats. We're all going, you know, missionary. We're all going down. You know, when you're moving, you feel like something's happening. What you don't understand is all you're moving, you're going back. You gotta say, you think you're going the right way? I'm not done yet. We got halfway to Haiti. Halfway to Haiti.
Excuse me.
After all this beating up and all that, I'm so excited. We get halfway to Haiti. And one of the captains in one of the boats comes out on the mic and says, "We all need to turn around because we're all going to die." Anyway, no, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna come around. I don't want to do much to get over here. I gotta keep going. I ain't turning around. I ain't turning around. You go ahead and turn. I can't turn around. I can't turn around. You see, because the journey up to that point, we already don't have the provisions to even continue to Haiti. How am I going to go back? And where am I going? I ain't going back. As I say I'm not going back, that little boat turned around and started heading back. And I look at Lisa and say, honey, we can't go back. We can't go back. We can't go back. God, we can't go back. We can't go back. God, we can't go back. And then I remembered just before we had left, the vessel that just turned around had a hired captain. He was hired by a young couple, newlyweds, who wanted to come with us to Haiti. And now that deranged captain had turned around with a crew that doesn't know how to sail, returning back to the United States. They couldn't stop him, we couldn't stop him, nothing could be done. We lost everything, had no home to go to. We have nothing to go to. We can't go back. And Adonai reminded me that before we left, I was Skyping with the parents of the young couple. And they said to me, Rabbi, we're really concerned about our children. And I said to them, I will treat them as if they're my own. You know, I heard something I never thought I'd hear from God. I heard him say, are you willing to give up the call to preserve life? We're all going to die. And I reminded me, death and life comes out of your mouth. So I said to Lisa, hey, we got to turn around. Turn around. And as we made the decision to turn around, a big wave picked the boat up and it gulped up some air into the engine, and the engine stalled. So now I have to spend an hour trying to prime a diesel engine while I'm throwing up. And what do I have to look forward to? Turning around. Going back. Finally, we got the engine started. We look in the binoculars, and they were 10, 15 miles out already. And I knew if we didn't turn around, they would be dead. So So we turn around and we travel another 4 days in open ocean, no sight of land, just going backwards, as they're about 20 miles ahead of us. And 3 storms that came like 15-minute hurricanes knocked our boat over, nearly ripped everything. And I heard a man say, this storm was for them. When you turned around, the enemy doesn't know where they are, so he's hitting you because your vessel is able to endure the storm. 3 storms nearly killed us. We took the brunt of 3 storms that were supposed to be brought to that little boat who turned around. You see, when you say you're going to die, the enemy's ears perk up, because that's what he wants you to say. That's what he wants you to do to you. And all I hear in my spirit, there's a reason for the storm. There's a reason for the storm. It's not going to go the way you want. It's not going to happen because you had the faith. There's a reason for the storm. There we were back in Hatchie, without food, without fuel, without the ability of being able to get a job. I remember I was trying to get a job because I'm a builder. I can build anything. I contract. I can do anything. And I would do it for next to nothing. And I remember trying to get a job, and my interviewer asked me, what's your name, boy? I said, Peter. He said, what's your last name, boy? What's your daddy's name? Oliveira? Don't know that name around here. You best go home. Back up north where you done come from. Yankee. I didn't know. I didn't even know I was a Yankee. We're walking in Confederate flag land, and I ain't got nothing against Confederate. I'm just saying we're in land of Confederacy. And they still believe the South will rise again. And I remember being going to go to church, and someone said, you believe in Jesus? I said, yes. You ain't no Jew, you're a Christian. He made a announcement, he ain't no Jew, he's a Christian. And I thought I was smart. I said to him, I said, last time I checked, Jesus is the king of the... And he looked at me. He's the king of the whole wide world. Insanity, and there we were for 6 months without any ability, possibility, or even hope to being able to get back on our boat and travel down to Haiti. This is crazy, but I have to tell you anyway. I couldn't find any provisions for me. Nothing. And I cried, no answer. 6 months later, a man comes up to me. He says, you hear of Jim Jones, Guyana tragedy? I said, yeah. He says, well, I'm his cousin. I said, okay, all right, good. Why not? He says, remember Ali North? Iran-Contra hearings? Remember that? So I'm the pilot that flew the missions for Ali North. I said, oh yeah, great, why not? Sounds good. Well, I'm here in Florida, and I've been looking for someone who does construction work. I heard you do some of this stuff. You know, can you come to my house and do some stuff? In the middle of hell, God will bring something who navigates through hell to come and bless you with the blessing of God. And it's not coming from where you think it's going to come.
Amen.
There's a reason for the storm. There's a reason for the storm. There's a reason for the storm. By the time we left, once again we're heading to Haiti, and that was another long trip to get to Haiti. It was clear God could not bring us where He needed us to go as long as we had something to rely on. As long as we had something to fall back on. As long as we had a little bit of finances to make the trip. As long as we had some strength to continue. We could not go. God would